What up, juggalos, juggalettes? I just, wanted to pop on and give my thoughts and views about the whole month of October House Party Peep Show 2020. And, obviously, there were some issues on their end, on ICP's end, Psychopathic's end. And, I really could expect it. And the reason why is it hasn't been done before, at least as far as I know, on their, for them. I don't believe them ever doing a month-long thing such as this. So I'm sure they had to get, more equipment and just, try to make things right and, go the smooth as they possibly could. And, if it's their first time doing it, which I believe it is, there's going to be challenges, significant hurdles. As a, someone who's also someone who's a project manager, I know that it can take a lot of preparation to pull off a larger project such as this. And I would definitely consider it a large project because, it was 3 hours a night, 3 nights a week. So they did pretty good for, what it was. And for those who weren't able to afford it, as you know, I uploaded videos and such, and definitely check them out if you haven't. They're pretty interesting. I think my favorite segment and the best segment, honestly, was the interview with Chris Hansen, or where Chris Hansen interviewed them. Well, I should say one of my favorites, and the reason for that is because they answered a lot of our questions, a lot of questions that the fans of Psychopathic Records as a whole had, and the big one being the whole Twisted thing. Now, as far as I know, and as they mentioned, Twisted's never commented on it, so I have to take ICP's word. I mean, I don't see why they would lie. I'm sure there's some exaggeration somewhere because a lot of people exaggerate, in their stories, and maybe there's not. But without getting both sides of the story, I don't see why ICP would have a reason to lie. It's a little odd that Twisted did that, and if you don't know, exactly what went down, please watch the Chris Hansen interview. But it's a little weird that Twisted flipped the script like that. But it could have gone better. They could have handled it better than they did with ICP and Psychopathic, and they should have. But that's neither here or there. That's between them. There's still a lot of us fans of Psychopathic who still like Twisted, and I think I don't like them as much as I used to. Let's say that. But again, same goes for me with ICP. I don't like a lot of their music as much as I used to. But that's because, artists change and mature over time, and they want to change up their style. And I get that. So I don't hate, Twisted for what they did. I think it's wrong if that really is how it went down. And they should have used better judgment, and handled it better. But again, that's between them. That has nothing to do with me, whatever. But I think that was probably one of the best segments of this whole month-long thing. I think the $66.50 that was paid was worth it once I get my merch in for subscribing to this. Just the videos alone would not have been worth the $66. Not at all. And even with the Hollow Wicked concert included in it, still wouldn't have been worth the $66. And I'm, messing with the laptop back there. But the least favorite segment for me, and the one that I thought was the most boring, I didn't watch the whole, I didn't watch every video all the way through. And the reason for that is because Violent J, Jump Steady can be long-winded sometimes. And, no diss, nothing, but they could be long-winded, and it just, stuff gets drawn out longer than it should. So I wasn't able to sit there and watch. Plus, live, I have to work early the next morning, so I wasn't able to watch it live, most of it. But I think my least favorite, though, is the Juggalos Against Sanity. I believe that's what it was. And I don't have the YouTube thing pulled up to show me what the whole list was. But it was the very first segment they did. And I just didn't care for it. I found it, boring. I'd rather have them answer questions from us. I'd rather, the You Produce ICP thing was one of, if not the top, one of the top segments they did. It was cool to vote. I didn't get to finish that live either because of work, but it was really cool to vote. It was neat to, really help choose the subject, choose the beat. Again, they had audio or video issues, and again, I expected it, But the good thing is, for lessons learned on this, I hope ICP now knows that they, what they need to fix, what the post-mortem for this is, the lessons learned, is that they need to work on their audio and their video production before going live, because the way it was set up wasn't ideal because there always seemed to be issues. The campfire stories that I'm looking at now, that was pretty good. A lot of that, though, is in Behind the Paint, and if you haven't, I highly recommend looking at or listening to the audiobook version. If you can read the actual book, read it. If you have a copy available or you can borrow a copy, whatever, read it. It's cool. The pictures and stuff are neat. But I honestly prefer the audiobook version, and that's just because they got Violent J tells different stories in there that aren't in the book. You got audio clips, all sorts of things. You got different things that just aren't covered in the book in there. So some of the stuff he talked about on the campfire stories, again, I have ADHD, so my memory is kind of shitty. But, if you didn't see it in the book and you read the book, it's probably in the audiobook. And the audiobook is uploaded on archive.org. So just look for it on there. It's free to download on there. So check that out. Another least favorite segment was the JCW Red Moon Howling. And that's just because I don't get into wrestling. I was into it when I was little, but I grew out of it. So for those who like wrestling, from what I saw, it seemed like it would have been a pretty good time. I don't remember who the performer was, but I know that they did pretty well. And I definitely think they did pretty well as a performer for somebody I never heard of before. Jay Villain, that's who it is, I think. I'm probably going to go back and listen to some of his stuff. The top 5 freshness, that segment didn't really care too much for. It was interesting to hear the top 5 favorite ICP songs. I know Shags didn't do it, but it was still interesting to hear. As an artist myself, it'd be hard to pick my top 5 songs that I've done, and my least 5. For me, I don't like hearing myself, so I probably would say all of my songs. But that was an interesting segment. The late night Funhouse talk show, Tom Dubb, and what the fuck's his name from D Lyrical. That was a surprise, and then the whoever the fuck that producer guy was, I can't remember his name now. Bob or what, I don't even fucking know. One of the beginning guest. It's funny. Jay talks so much shit on him, and how they were getting fucked and everything, and behind in the audiobook by the producer, and then they had him on and they're praising him and all that stuff. I find that to be pretty hilarious, but it was definitely, that was a pretty interesting segment. Pretty cool that he had a house band, and hey, I like Jay's house that it's not a mega mansion as well. From what I've seen in the house where he had the stuff, I wasn't there, but what I've seen in the video, just a normal looking house. No fancy marble floors, no gold trimmed balcony, fucking rails, nothing. I like that. It was just like an average Joe type of thing. I thought that was pretty neat. Just probably far more spacious than a lot of us. The Oddcast podcast, Descent into Evil. Interesting, kind of, but not really something I really I'd want to rewatch, and that's something I'd really want to watch all of. So that was okay, but it was kind of like, I could have probably done without it. The big one, the ICP seminar, I didn't get to watch a lot of that again, work, and I didn't go back and rewatch it. But from what I saw, I liked it, I definitely need to go back and rewatch it so I could see more about what they what they're talking about. But that's always going to definitely be a good, a good thing to watch, to review. And, it's funny, I can't re-record it as a single video for my YouTube channel because it's gone. It's not on the Patreon website anymore. So I'm glad I got it when I did, even though it is segmented. So, the big one, Hollow Wicked, the Joker's card reveal. When they premiered the Ding Dong Dial song, I was skeptical that I was gonna like it. Again, I like more of their older shit. Riddlebox, Ringmaster, Amazing Jackal Brothers, stuff like that. I like this song. I like the beat. Shaggy the Airhead did it, and it's definitely It's definitely interesting. It's one of their better songs that they've had in recent years, I should say. I definitely am not a fan of the Hollow Wicked track, Mr. Nothing Man. Just something about it. Maybe it was the beat. I don't know. I just could not get into it. The Hollow Wicked performance, acoustic. I know a lot of people were shitting all over it, saying, oh, they shouldn't be acoustic, whatever. I liked it. It was a unique experience. As long as they're not doing it all the time, I can dig it. Some of the renditions they did of like Cemetery Girl were pretty dope. I liked Mr. Rotten Treats, Crossing That Bridge. That was pretty good too. It would have been interesting to hear Ding Dong Dial. I'm not gonna lie. They should have did that one acoustic, or the Hollow Wicked track. Even though I'm not a fan of it, which it is on streaming services, by the way. So if you didn't get that CD, it's on streaming services if you didn't know. But I think they should have did that. I think they should have done more Halloween theme tracks than they did. I would have liked to have here. I don't recall them doing it. I don't think they did. Pumpkin Carver, because I thought that would have been fucking great for Halloween. But for what it was a good show. I couldn't really tell. I don't recall any audio issues, so that was good. I wasn't really interested in Clownvis at all. It was, whatever. I'm not an Elvis fan, never have been. It's before my time, but I've never been an Elvis fan, and Clownvis I just couldn't get into. But Big Hoodoo did good. Ouija Mac tore it up. And, of course, Big Chronic. He put on a performance, too. Wow. Big things for him. I'm looking forward to seeing what's coming from him in the future. Him, Jay Villain. I really, really liked that it was acoustic. It was very unique. And, in my next video, I'm going to talk about the Twisted Freak Show live stream, and it's completely different from the Twisted one, and in my opinion, the whole House Party Peep show and even the Hollow Wicked stream itself is better than the Freak Show live stream, and was worth the money paid for the House Party Peep show, because you got so many different segments. But so if you don't watch this video or whatever all the way through, TLDR, worth the money. A couple of key segments that I really would watch there: the seminar, the Hollow Wicked show, of course, campfire stories, and an interview with Chris Hansen, and the You Produce ICP. Definitely watch those if you don't watch any of the others, if you haven't seen any of them. But yeah, I hope they do it again in December. They mentioned they might do it in December. And then on Patreon, they actually paused billing just for November, but it says it'll start up in December. So I'm curious if they already have it planned out for December. If they have a plan to do it in December, that is, which I hope they do. But again, we'll see what happens. All right, well, not really much to talk about, in those videos. Just leave it to you to watch them. Just my thoughts and opinions. So, yeah, check out my Freak Show little review or my thoughts on that as well.